You're sitting in a graduation ceremony at UC Berkeley. The dean introduces the keynote speaker as the perfect embodiment of the school's vision. He's the founder of a $200 billion AI company, the hottest name in Silicon Valley. Then he walks up to the mic and says, "I was a pretty average student. I basically just played beer pong." Wait, what? This is Adam Foroughi, CEO of AppLovin. And in the first 30 seconds of his speech, he tells the entire graduating class that he was mediocre, that his first job in finance was a disaster, that he got fired after a year and a half, that he then went to Europe for 2 months to party, racked up credit card debt, and moved back home with no plan, until his mom kicked him out. This is not the story you expect from a guy running one of the most valuable companies on the planet. And the more you dig into Adam Foroughi, the more you realize, almost every label you'd put on a typical AI founder doesn't fit him. He gets nervous before every job interview. He sweats through his shirt. He hates public speaking. He avoids the spotlight. In Silicon Valley, you can barely find another CEO like him. And here's the thing, that's not an accident. It's the result of 14 years of being told he couldn't win. Let's go back to the beginning. It's 2012. The mobile app boom is exploding. Developers are building everything, but they have one massive problem: nobody can find their app. Adam sees this and decides to build a mobile ad platform, a way for app makers to find users inside other apps, like Facebook. Sounds like a solid pitch, right? Especially since Adam had already built and sold 2 successful ad companies. He had the resume. He had the track record. So he goes to the top venture capital firms in Silicon Valley. And every single one of them says no. Why? Because the mobile ad space was already crowded. The VCs had already handed out their tickets. The boat had sailed. Adam was too late. So he did something that sounds insane. He registered the company as an LLC. No board. No investors. He funded it out of his own pocket. While his competitors were burning through millions of VC cash, hiring armies, and scaling fast, Adam's tiny team was counting every penny, trying to find a path to revenue before the founder's bank account hit zero. And they found it. In March 2012, AppLovin launched its ad platform. 8 months later, they were doing $1 million in monthly revenue. What happened to the competitors who got all that VC money? Some sold for pennies. Some limped along. Some just vanished. AppLovin didn't get a ticket on the boat. So Adam built his own. By 2021, the company went public at nearly $40 billion. And then, the fall. In 2022, AppLovin's stock crashed 92%. From nearly $40 billion to under $4 billion. The darkest moment. Every day, another drop. Every week, another short seller report screaming that the company was dead. Everyone thought it was over. Adam later said the hardest part wasn't the stock price itself. It was that the market was telling him, every single day, that his company had no future. So he made 3 decisions. And every single one of them looked completely irrational at the time. First, he shut down the investor relations department. Most CEOs would hit the road, do presentations, beg investors to stay. Adam went silent. He said, "Nobody is buying our stock anyway. Why waste time explaining? Let's use that time on the business." Second, he borrowed money to buy back stock. While everyone else was selling, he was buying. He poured in about $6 billion over 18 months. He took on debt. He leveraged up. And for a year and a half, the market told him he was wrong, every single day. Third, he rebuilt the core technology. AppLovin's ad engine was called Axon. But Adam knew the old system was built on traditional machine learning. He needed a deep learning recommendation system. A complete rebuild from the ground up. Imagine you're an engineer. Your company's stock has crashed 92%. Everyone is telling you to quit. And your CEO says, we're going to tear down the system that generates all our revenue and build something completely new. There was resistance. The company was cash-strapped. The new architecture wasn't proven. And Adam had to walk into the room, with the stock down 92%, and say, trust me. He later said he couldn't sleep. He was drinking 8 cups of coffee a day. His hair was falling out. People called to check on his mental health. But he found the right person. A guy named Gu Xiaochuan, who had built the most successful ad product in Meta's history. He joined with a team of fewer than 5 engineers. 3 months later, Axon 2.0 went live. Over the next 2 years, AppLovin's stock went from $9.14 to over $745. That's an 80x increase. The company went from under $4 billion to nearly $250 billion. Even by Silicon Valley standards, that kind of rebound is almost unheard of. So what makes this guy tick? How does a CEO who hates public speaking, who gets nervous in interviews, who was rejected by every VC, end up running one of the most profitable ad companies in the world? It comes down to one word: efficiency. Adam is obsessed with it. And it shows in 3 ways. First, he hates bureaucracy. His core ad team is about 400 people. His C-suite has 4 people. His HR department has 15. In 2024, the company nearly doubled its revenue while cutting its workforce by 40%. Business is booming, and the team is getting smaller. Adam says he wants doers. People who can actually build things and take responsibility for the results. That's why AppLovin doesn't have product managers. In an AI-driven business, the engineers are the core. Everything else is a middle layer. Adam believes that if an engineer is truly great, they should understand the product well enough to build it themselves. The line between product manager and engineer is blurring. Either the PM learns to code, or the engineer becomes the product person. Second, he is ruthless about talent. He believes that if you put an A player in a room full of B and C players, the A player will leave. And he takes it further. He says most companies make a mistake when they do layoffs. They cut people, but if the remaining people are still mediocre, you just have a smaller team of mediocre people. The real solution is often closer to rebuilding. He says a manager's job is to put every person in the right seat. And that includes the C-suite. If a VP has been in place for 10 years, but someone 2 levels below them is clearly better, you have to make the switch. Or you lose that person to a competitor. Adam has done this. He doesn't just talk about it. Third, he refuses to follow trends. There's a trend in Silicon Valley right now called token maxing. Companies are giving employees unlimited AI compute and encouraging them to use as many tokens as possible. Adam thinks this is stupid. He says it's the same as giving people a budget to hire. If you create a leaderboard for token usage, people will just waste tokens to climb the leaderboard. The right approach is to figure out what KPI you're optimizing, then run experiments to see if the tokens actually drive results. He also pushes back on the founder mode trend. After Paul Graham's essay went viral, a lot of founders started micromanaging everything. Adam says that's an overcorrection. Yes, founders need to cut out the fat. But if you've already built a lean team of A players, and you're still micromanaging, what are you paying them for? Give them resources, give them space, and let them work. This approach is working. Last quarter, AppLovin reported $1.84 billion in revenue, up 59%. Net profit was $1.2 billion, up 109%. Their adjusted EBITDA margin was 85%. A CEO who can't give a speech is running the most profitable ad company in America. But there's a cost. Adam admits he missed too much of his kids' childhood. He says, "I was there, but I was never really there. I was always thinking about something else. Looking at my phone. Thinking about work." Everyone talks about balance. But finding that point is incredibly hard. And here's the reframe. Adam's family moved to America when he was 4. His father ran one of the most successful real estate companies in Iran. He gave up everything so Adam could have a better future. At 23, Adam was lying on his couch, unemployed, after his mom kicked him out. And he suddenly realized, his failure wasn't just his own. He was wasting the sacrifice his parents made. That's when he found his drive. He says, "When I hire people, I look for someone with a chip on their shoulder. Maybe their family sacrificed for them. Maybe they had nothing. Maybe someone told them they couldn't do it. That chip is what separates good from great." Many of the choices that work in the long run look wrong in the beginning. The real question is whether you know what you want to prove, and whether you're willing to keep going. Find your chip. And let it push you.